I want to talk about this evolution, this Steam machine, guys. Yes, Steam machine. Everybody talked about this when this news dropped. Okay, there's a lot of people who are very excited, as they should be, I think. There's a lot of people, of course, who have things to say. They want to criticize, and hey, if you feel one way or the other, it's your prerogative. But I want to get into this Steam machine and why I'm excited for it. Okay, because it's basically, if I have to put it into words, it's a entry level PC. That's the best way I can put it, guys. Okay. Now, I have a Steam Deck. I love the Steam Deck, but it's limited. I don't play AAA games on that Steam Deck purposely. Now, there are some you can play on the Steam Deck. There are some that are actually approved and you can actually play them, right? With limited settings. And that's fine if that's how you want to play it. But me personally, that's not what I was looking for with the Steam Deck. I was looking at the Steam Deck for indie games from Steam, games that you can't get anywhere else but Steam, and retro games like PlayStation 2 and GameCube and things of that nature. That's what I usually have on. That's what I have on my Steam Deck. I have a lot of retro Nintendo stuff, just retro period. PlayStation 2, things of that nature I have over there. And I have, a lot of indie games on the Steam Deck. That's what I play it for. And I get a lot of early access to demos and things of that nature. Cool shit like that, right? Stuff you can't get anywhere else. That's why I got the Steam Deck for. Now, I want a console as well. I want something to play beefier games, maybe a little bit beefier for a decent price. And there are a lot of systems out there now, like really pretty good fucking systems out there for a decent price. The competition is fierce out there when you talk about these boxes now. And so that's what Steam is trying to tackle now. Okay. Because they claim that this Steam box, a lot of people call it the GameCube, believe it or not. They say that this thing is 6 times stronger, 6 times more powerful than the Steam Deck, which is really good. And some of the specs, you're going to get 4K 60 hertz upscaling on this. This is what you're going to average get. Now, could you tweak some things? Yeah, you could and get some more or a little bit less out of something. Sure, you probably, yes, but that's the tier we're looking at here. Also, it's only got 8 VRAM in it. Now, I don't know too much about computers, guys. I'm not a PC player like that. I'm trying to get into it a little bit. But I want easy access. I want to play PC games without the bloat of playing PC games, if that makes sense. But if you're not familiar with how PC games work, guys, it's not as simple as plug and play. That's not how it works over there. Okay, there's a lot more to it. You have to configure a lot of things in a lot of cases to get shit to work right or the way you want it to. If you're not familiar with that, you're going to get a rude awakening once you start, going over on the other side of the fence. Okay. Those days of plugging shit up and just turning it on and having one update, those days are over if you're going over there. But what makes Steam Deck so cool and what makes that device so awesome is that it allows you that. Okay. It's still a learning curve on it, but it's a light learning curve. And once you figure that stuff out, then it's easy to play. Okay. The Steam store, boom. Okay. You can turn your shit on, you can play your shit and you can move on. You want ease of use. That's what you want. And that's what this thing is going to bring to the table. Now, 8 VRAM, that's what a lot of people are complaining about, but there's no price yet. So we don't know how much this is actually going to cost. Now, the talk around the campfire is it's going to be somewhere around $600 to $800. That's a sweet spot. Because if you look at all the specs that this thing has and compare it to all the other competition out there, like especially in the Chinese market, guys, you're looking at around, $750 for a device like this. Okay. Now, the cool thing about this Steam machine that I personally like is the fact that it's a nice little box. It's pretty powerful. It's going to play what I want it to play. You're going to be able to play AAA games now on this. Some with higher, specs than others. You're going to be able to play them and not worry about, I got to play this at 30. You should be able to at least play these in 60 on certain games, maybe 45. And I'm cool with that. And some even higher than 60. Okay. So we'll just see what happens. But there's a lot of us still playing on 1080p monitors, right? A lot of us don't have 4K yet. They haven't graduated to 4K yet. So over 50%, I think 54% of players are still on 1080. Yeah, it's going to be some time before all that is done. So, you still have room to grow. You have a ceiling that you can feel per se. And the ceiling is, like I said, as far as upgrades are concerned, what I like about it is the fact that it does leave you a chance or a way to upgrade this later, right? You can also treat it like a PC. You can run Windows on it. You can run other operating systems on it if you want. You can run other hosts on there too. You don't have to just run Steam. You could do other ones as well, other launchers you could run on this too. So it gives you freedom to kind of just do what you want to do. Like treat it like a personal computer, so to speak. So that's cool as well. If you want to add more RAM, if you want to add certain things, you can actually go in there and you can upgrade this thing. It's not limited to what is in the box. What's in the box is fine. But if you want a little bit more kick, you can add that for certain scenarios if you want to. You know what I mean? So I like that as well. Like I said, I'm waiting on that price, man. That price is going to basically say everything else. That's what everybody's waiting on. Let's find out how much it's going to cost. Then we can figure out what is really worth what. And I think they're going to deliver a decent price for this. And I was already looking for another box. I saw one I was going to get for maybe $350, and it was pretty beefy little thing. Just looks like a little fucking box, man. But it ran. I saw some videos. It ran everything. It ran most games. It was pretty good. And you throw, Steam on that boy and off to the races. So this might be something that might get picked up. So I'm really excited about this, to be honest with you, man, because my experience so far is, besides the initial setup, everything has been awesome as far as the Steam Deck is concerned, guys. The games that I've played, the demos that I've checked out, things of that nature. So I'm very happy. And there's some games that I bought. There's one game I bought that was, I think it was Sons of the Forest. I think that's the name of it. And, I was playing with a friend of mine and, we had some good time playing it. But, I was playing on the Steam Deck, right? And I had it docked and it was okay. But his was playing a lot better because he had a beefier computer, of course. So I wouldn't like to, play that on this and get that fidelity and all that, you know what I'm saying? So that's the type of thing, that I'm talking about here. I was basically punching above my weight class with this game a little bit as far as the Steam Deck is concerned. Yeah, you can play it. You can still do your thing or whatever. But, the experience could have been better. And that's what this thing will kind of let you do, and there's a lot of awesome games on the Steam library that I would like to play, but I wouldn't want it for the Steam Deck because I wouldn't be able to get as much out of it as I would like to. And so this machine would be perfect for that. And this machine is also catered towards about 70% of people who are going to be buying this, guys. We're not talking about these elitists out here. We're not talking about the guys who spend thousands of dollars on their rigs. Okay. We're not talking about these guys. We're talking about the average person who is going to be playing and who plays Steam anyway, right? Most people have mid to low, PCs and, good enough to play most of their games, right? On decent settings, on average settings. And that's the most of the players. So you're going to be able to get that experience heightened. You'll be able to get a decent experience out of what this thing offers, guys. You know what I mean? Comparable to, at least consoles for the most part. You're at least going to be able to get your, high fidelity, 45, 60 frames on this thing, right? 1080p on a monitor. You're good. You know what I mean? I haven't ran 4K and I don't see myself running 4K anytime soon. I'm cool with 1080. Like I said, we're approaching a place now, technology wise, where how good can you get something to look now? How good can you actually get something to run without diminishing returns? And we're approaching that time now, right? Where you're like, okay, you're 4K, you're 1080. There's not that much of a difference, okay, when you're playing it. Where do we stop? They're talking about 8K. Okay, there's gonna come a point where it's just, it doesn't matter. You've hit a wall, and so I'm perfectly fine with that.